That's more like it, Tottenham Hotspur. Honestly, a more enjoyable game after the previous two against Coventry and Arsenal were quite dismal. And the things that we've been frustrated about thus far for Spurs this season seem to be slightly eradicated, you could say, maybe. But, there's still a long way to go for Spurs this season. But getting a win at home against a team like Brentford, even though they have injuries, is still very important at this stage to move up the table, score some goals and see what this is the football that Ange Ball is. We played proper Ange Ball today and it delivered and we won and we scored goals. But before I get any further about my analysis and thoughts on this game, if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel and you haven't seen me before, get down below in the comment section first of all. Let me know what you thought of the game. Leave a like if you have enjoyed it as well. And also subscribe, hit that notification bell. It will let you know when I've gone live, reacting to games and content during the week leading up to match day. But yeah, moving back onto the game. And everyone seemed on form, didn't they? Everyone seems, Ange went for the same lineup as he did against Arsenal. And I believe this was a very wise decision. He sort of has shown that this probably is his strongest side. Maybe Basuma comes in from Bentancur, but all in all, he plays this attacking side now. He wants Maddison and Kulusevski in those 8 positions. He likes to look at Brennan Johnson on the wing, Solanke through the middle, Son on the left, and then the back 4 and 5 sort of really pick themselves. But obviously the game didn't start as well as we would have hoped, and the same happened for Brentford last week. Went 1-0 up in about 24 seconds, I believe it was. And when you look at the Brentford goal as well, I mean, it's not ideal to concede that early, obviously, but it's an amazing goal, isn't it? Like, you could say Pedro Porro should have, stopped the cross coming in from Keane Lewis-Potter. Maybe Van der Ven's at fault for not tracking Mbeumo, but it's a great volley, and Vicario would struggle. I think Edison and Allison would struggle to stop that. David Raya as well. But I believe the goal sort of, to pardon the pun, spurred Tottenham on and made us come out of our shell. We sort of knew what we had to do then. I think in recent weeks where we've bombarded Leicester, Newcastle, teams like that, it's sort of, I know we went 1-0 down against Newcastle, but this at home in front of our home crowd sort of made us go, right, we need to actually turn up here. And as soon as that goal went in, I think, Brentford, they did have a few chances later on, which I'll come on to, but we absolutely battered them for the remainder of the game. And we equalised, very quick after that. Really good press. I thought our press today was very good and back to what it should be. Maddison, my man of the match, just absolutely closing down the Brentford player, having a shot, and then Solanke does what he does best, and that is taps it home from the rebound. I thought Solanke was really good today, really good hold-up play. I have no doubt that he will score a lot of goals for Tottenham this season and into the future. And then the game obviously carries on. We're on top. Loads and loads and loads of chances. And it's been a fantastic week, hasn't it, for this man? Brennan Johnson scores a fantastic goal. Honestly, the way he sort of, whips it back across goal. This is what we want, in those positions. If you're not going to cross it, whip it across. And he nearly, could have had a similar goal in the second half. It looked like, Son should have shot. Then he passes it Brennan Johnson, who sort of, it looks like a cross-come shot that Solanke could have actually got on the end of, but he didn't score that time. But this one was fantastic. He scored to send us through against Coventry in the Carabao Cup, and he's done this. He's sort of bit back at those haters, isn't he? I thought we had a really good game back in the side. And then there was a few moments where our goalkeeper, and I love Vicario, I think, he's an amazing shot stopper. He made a vital save against Mbeumo actually before that other Brennan Johnson chance. But the moment where he basically does handball it, doesn't he? He does handball it. Let me know in the comment section, did you think he handballed it? The third one, it's outside the area, isn't it, really? I don't know how he has gotten away with that. But there are moments where, even like for one of the corners, he punched it, but it was just so, we worry, don't we, as Spurs fans, about corners and set pieces, but we handle them well. But there are moments of madness from Vicario, but do love him to bits. I thought the defence played well, actually. Not really, apart from that early effort. I think we handled Brentford quite well. And Mbeumo is a very tricky customer, and they do move the ball around well, Brentford. But, you know, it was the guy on my T-shirt today, James Maddison, you probably can't see it, there he is there, who stole the show. And his goal against Son with 2 assists, really good to see. But the little dink from Maddison to make it 3-1 and a convincing 3-1 in the end. The game deserved to be 3-1. I think, you know, if it was 2-1, it would have really flattered Brentford. But there are moments where you just want us to kill these games off, and this was an example of that. We did it against Everton, but we looked convincing today. I think that's what it was. Against Everton, there were moments where we didn't look that convincing, whereas today, I think Ange Postecoglou was sort of argued back to some of the critics. The stadium was singing his name, which was really good to hear. You know, the oh, Ange Postecoglou. And, you know, I love Ange to bits. Hope he stays long term. But, you know, after the North London derby, he has had to, you know, battle a tricky week, hasn't he? You know, barely scraping past Coventry. This game would have been seen as a very tough tie as well. Brentford are no mugs. They gave City a really good game last week at the Etihad, and, you know, City had to really come out of the blocks to win that game. But yeah, back to winning ways. I just think, you know, looking at the likes of individual performances, again, Kulusevski looking very sharp and creative. Maddison, again, you know, looking at the player we signed in those first 10 games as well last season. Back on good form, dictating, scoring a goal that he deserved. Took his shirt off in good celebration. Solanke, good hold-up play. And it was also good to see some youngsters, Mikey Moore coming on as well. This is why, and people say, like, I'm over-positive, and after this, I might get some backlash for being too over-positive. But this is an example, and people will say it's Brentford. Brentford are no mugs. They are a very good, stable Premier League team now. Thomas Frank is a good boss. I've even had people this week saying, maybe Thomas Frank replaces Ange Postecoglou, which I don't really agree with. But that's the calibre he's been. You know, Pep Guardiola said that last week, didn't he? That maybe sooner or later, Thomas Frank will go to a bigger club. So on that, you know, fault train, I do think this is a good example of, you know, this is what Tottenham can do. It's early points in this season. You know, we've got another 2 big games. You've got a Europa League game against Qarabag this week on Thursday, which I could imagine a lot of rotation. I believe we're at home for that as well. And then we've got Manchester United on Sunday, you know, away from home at Old Trafford, which, you know, last season we got a draw against them at Old Trafford and deserved to win, really. But the games are going to come thick and fast. You need these results in the Premier League. A good bounce back from Spurs. And again, I think Ange proving that you can play this way in the Premier League and get results. And I know we conceded again, and that is what it is, because it was a wonder strike. But all in all, I thought the team looked a lot tighter, a lot more regimented. You know, not as many yellow cards this week, maybe because it was Arsenal and you might end up going into tackles a bit more gung-ho. But more positive, you know, positive from the fans as well in the stadium. Really good sights to see. And all the players on form, all the players ticking along nicely. Some no-nonsense defending as well, which was good to see to clear some lines. Better passing. Just, you know, you could tell there's certain players who their names are always going to be on the team sheet, and most of them were playing today. And you've got your depth there. You know, be good to see an Archie Gray and Lucas Bergwijn get some minutes in the Premier League as well, which I think they deserve. But yeah, I think that's such a positive result. We really needed it. You know, 3 p.m. kickoff as well. Just Spurs, I believe, are still going in the right direction under Ange Postecoglou. You know, a lot of media hype about Izzy, you know, his attitude, Ange being rude, people calling him out, which I think has been absolutely crazy. Some of the stuff I've heard about Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou in the last 7 days to, you know, since Sunday has been, I don't know, just harsh. I feel like we've got to give him time. We've got to back this manager. Today was an example of how Ange Ball can work at Tottenham Hotspur. An attacking game, an exciting game, an end-to-end game. But that's what we want. And I think it can achieve something at this football club. Maybe silverware one day, but we will see. But yeah, that's all from me today. Hope you have enjoyed. As I say, let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys soon for a video. Come on, you Spurs!